Am I the asshole for telling my brother's girlfriend that it was weird for her to keep an urn of her late husband's ashes in the house? Okay, so this happened last night while I and my family were visiting my brother's girlfriend's house for the first time. We were all sitting at the dinner table and I remembered when my brother's girlfriend, who's a widow, said that she keeps an urn of her late husband's ashes in the house. Conversation led from one thing to another. Then I looked at my brother and asked him quietly if he was comfortable with having his girlfriend's late husband's urn in the house. He gave me a long stare, so I figured the answer was yes, but maybe he couldn't tell his girlfriend about it, fearing she'd misunderstand maybe? So I brought it up with her and told her it was quite weird to have her late husband's urn in the house. She looked at me and was apparently caught off guard by what I said. She said that she didn't think so and that it wasn't like the urn was on display, also said this is her late husband's house and where the urn should be. I told her it felt weird, especially since she just had my brother move in with her and he must be feeling uncomfortable with the idea. His girlfriend looked upset and got quiet. My brother shouted, "None of your goddamn business, shut your mouth, Elijah, Jesus." I responded with, personally, I wouldn't be cool with my girl keeping an urn of her ex within close approximate. At best it'd make me feel uncomfortable, at worst it'd make me feel creeped out. His girlfriend then replied by saying that I have no business dating a widow then, and I shrugged. She excused herself to the kitchen and stayed there. My brother went off on me, calling me an obnoxious asshole for making dinner awkward and upsetting his girlfriend. I told him I was just giving my opinion, but he lashed out more. My parents and I left and they told me my brother's girlfriend was being hypersensitive, but I too went too far and upset my brother and probably sparked an argument between them, and I should reach out to apologize, but I'm not sure. Edit. Guys, please, one thing you should know is that I had no intentions of being hurtful. I do not hate my brother's girlfriend, in fact, we get along pretty well, but I just wanted to add that I had no malicious intent here. I'm not the type of guy who goes out of their way to act maliciously, but I feel kind of guilty for how the situation played out. Edit 2. My parents are the ones who said she was being hypersensitive, not me. Edit 3. Yes, I overheard my brother venting about the urn when he first moved in, just so you know.
You are the asshole. Newsflash, dude. You are not always entitled to your opinion. This is none of your business whatsoever. Think about this whenever you open your mouth to speak. Is what you're about to say helpful? Is what you're about to say necessary? Is what you're about to say kind? If the answer to all or even two of these is no, then keep your mouth shut. This incident, the answer to all three is a definite no.
Am I the asshole for making my grandmother give me her house after my stepbrother thought he'd get it and had already renovated it? I've been mostly estranged from my father since I was 15. I've only ever maintained a relationship with my grandmother. The estrangement was due to my mom, him, and me. I won't blame him entirely. Important. When I was 23, I found out that my father had given my grandmother's home to my stepbrother. My father had given it under the assumption that my grandmother would give it to him once she passed away, which she'd promised to do several times. My stepbrother was older, married, and had a child, and apparently needed a home. I have nothing against him as a person, but I was feeling bitter about it and basically griped to my grandmother how my father had sidelined me again. After I vented, I made myself forget about the house. My grandmother passed away earlier this year and to everyone's surprise, had given the house to me instead. It was obviously a very awkward situation. It was made even more awkward when I found out that my stepbrother and his wife had completely gut-renovated most of the house by putting in nearly $90,000 of their own money. My father called me and begged me to let him buy the house for around $150,000 so my stepbrother wouldn't have to pay for his mistake. Here is where I think I'm the asshole. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever be able to own a house otherwise. So I told my father I will be keeping the house and I gave notice to my stepbrother to move out. I've since moved into the house, and while I'm slightly guilty about enjoying a renovated house that I didn't pay for, I can't help but think this whole mess would have been avoided if my father had waited to receive the house before giving it away. I've since had a conversation with my father about why my grandmother might have done what she did, because of me venting to her, and he's upset. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Grandma made the choice. They were foolish to funnel money into something they never owned. Your dad can give him $90,000 to make up for it. Congratulations on your new home. Get security cameras. Am I the asshole for upgrading to a business class ticket while my wife sits in economy? So I and my wife are going to the United States from Japan for a month for vacation, and when we booked the tickets, we initially thought that we were going to be sitting next to each other, but I had the option to upgrade my seat to business with miles and I did. Well, my wife is not too happy about that because she wanted to sit together on the 12-hour flight, but it's overnight so we're gonna be sleeping the whole flight, so I didn't think it mattered. I told her that and she got upset because she thinks I chose business class over her and that's rude apparently. I said to her that she was just jealous, in a teasing joking way, and she got upset and told me to ask the airline to see if I can switch my seat back to the economy. I said hell no because I'm not going to miss my opportunity to sit in business class, which looks amazing by the way, look up, Anna the room. In my eyes, it's just a 12-hour flight and it doesn't matter if I sit next to my wife or not. If it's really bad though I still have a week before my flight to maybe get it changed. Am I the asshole? Edit. Yeah, I'm the asshole. I'm buying her the upgrade to sit next to me in business. I offered to switch seats but she really wanted to sit next to me, I guess.
You are the asshole. You literally ditched your wife and then mocked her. You are absolutely the asshole here and she is completely right to be upset. Am I the asshole for refusing to buy my stepdaughter a car like my daughters? This is a throwaway account for privacy reasons. I, F38, have a 16-years-old daughter. About 7 years ago her dad and I divorced because he found out he was gay. Him being the only breadwinner, and a high earner at that, and me being a housewife, he preferred to let us live in our house, a big one in a gated community, and continued paying all our expenses and giving me spending money to maintain my lifestyle. 2 years later I met my current husband, a year later we married and he moved in with me and my daughter. He and my ex are great friends, especially since my ex is still very much a part of our life. Also as a wedding gift, he gave me his half of the house. Now I own it in full. My husband has a daughter with his ex, they have shared custody and she lives with us half the time. The problem is that my ex pays for our daughter to go to a really expensive private school, buys her expensive gifts, and for her birthday he bought her a $60,000 car. My husband can't afford the same for his daughter. My daughter and her stepsister do not have the best relationship, mainly because my husband's ex hoped that they would be getting back together, and kept poisoning her daughter. My daughter used to share her stuff until her stepsister started ruining them on purpose. That was when my husband made a rule that they can't borrow from each other. I stay out of it since she refuses to see me as a parent and I won't force her. My husband has a good job, but nothing as close as to what my ex earns, and since we both decided that the house is enough to help from my ex, our income is just what he earns. Which in my opinion is more than enough. Now my stepdaughter's 16th birthday is coming up. She asked for the same car that my ex gave my daughter. We refused of course and said we would buy her a car that fits our budget. She threw a tantrum and threatened my husband that she would never talk with him again if he didn't get her the same car. He is wavering but I refuse. $60,000 plus is just under what he makes a year. It will drown us in debt. We are still paying off his student loans and some medical debt he has. But on the other hand, he loves his daughter a lot, and I feel partly responsible since she wouldn't have asked for it if my daughter didn't get the car for her birthday. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your ex bought your daughter the car, right? So tell your stepdaughter that her mother can buy her a car to make it equal.